12 top-rated tourist attractions in Zurich. Obviously, there are much more than 12 tourist attractions in Zurich, but this list points out absolutely the highlights nobody should miss. Visit the places in Zurich that tell the exciting history of the town, see the gorgeous parks and green spaces within the middle of the old town and luxuriate in the breathtaking views from the various overlooks, and you'll experience Zurich's true character and wonder. Number 1. Old Town. In the midst of this contemporary financial powerhouse of a city may be a neighborhood crammed with historic charm, its narrow streets rising steeply on the side of the river. Heading up Munster Gas, you'll come to the Limmatquai, with the Brunnenturm, which was headquarters of the Lombard money changers within the 14th and 15th centuries. Haus zum Nacht, at number 6, features a fine interior with rooms furnished in Renaissance style. You can get an outline of the old town's warren of charming streets, also as an orientation of the layout of the town, on the 2-hour Zurich Highlights tour. Walking through the old town and seeing the history of city, you'll board the Doldebahn railway to climb into the hills of the Zurichberg district for views of the old town and lake. Number 2. Uetliberg. Southwest of Zurich, the Uetliberg is the most northerly summit within the Albis Ridge, easy to succeed in by the Uetlibergbahn, a mountain railroad that runs year-round from Sulnau station to the upper station. The broad walkway is well lit in the dark and results in the summit restaurant, a glass-enclosed space with beautiful views of the town lights below. Daytime views from the lookout towers stretch across the Valais, Bernese, and Glarus Alps, with the Black Forest to the north and therefore the Sontis to the east. From here, a simple ridge walk to the Felsneg takes a touch quite an hour, where a cableway descends to Adliswil. Riding to the Uetliberg within the dark for a dinner of fondue and views of the town with its lights reflected in the snow. Number 3. Lake Zurich. The focus of Zurich, and a favorite playground for tourists and locals, is the long Lake Zurich. The favorite thanks to enjoy the lake is on one among the various cruises from which you will see beautiful views to the Glarus Alps. Search for the steamer landing at Berkeleyplatz, at the purpose where the Limmat flows from the lake. The Quai Brook crosses the river to attach Berkeleyplatz with Bellevue Plates. About 1.5 kilometers from Bellevue Plates is the beautiful Zurich Horn Park, built for the National Exhibition in 1939. Here, you will find a restaurant, a Chinese garden, and a ship landing for the Limmat Schiff, a ship that runs from the National Museum along the river to the lake, ending at Zurichhorn. Number 4. Kunsthaus Zurich. One of Europe's top art museums, the Kunsthaus is travelled by the Zurich Society of Arts and traces its history back to a society of artists founded in 1787. While its large collections of works by several artists, more paintings by Charles Munch than the other museum outside of Oslo and Europe's most vital collection of Monet's works outside of Paris, the stress has always been on showing the very best quality works by an artist over the most important quantity. Two of the foremost beautiful of the massive aquatic plant canvases are at the middle of the Monet exhibit. Both Cézanne and Van Gogh are represented by paintings from the top of their careers, Van Gogh's painted within the final days of his life. A whole room is crammed with characteristic dreamlike works of Chagall. Number 5. Fraumunster. Often mistranslated to Church of Our Lady, the name of the Protestant Fraumunster actually means Women's Church, pertaining to the founding of an abbey here in 853 for aristocratic women of Europe by the Emperor Ludwig for his daughter, Hildegard. The church may be a three-aisled, pillared basilica with a Gothic nave built from the 13th to the 15th centuries, a Romanesque chancel, and an early Gothic transept with high vaulting. Within the undercroft, you'll see remains of the crypt of the 9th century abbey church. The beautiful set of 5 stained glass windows within the chancel created by Chagall makes it one among popular destinations in city. The vividly colored windows show Elijah's ascent to heaven, Jacob, scenes of Christ's life, an angel trumpeting the top of the planet, and Moses. Number 6. Limmatquai and the Rathaus. Along the town hall, a well-liked riverside shopping street, are a variety of chic old guild houses with sumptuous interiors reflecting the wealth of the guilds which governed the town until 1789. Many of them now house restaurants, so you'll get a glance inside at the 1719 Haus zur Saffron, the 1660 Haus zur Ruden, and therefore the two-storied Haus zur Zimmerluten from 1709, with a gorgeous oriel. Zurich's government building, the Rathaus, is straightforward to identify, because it overhangs the river and is supported on wide arches at the east end of the Rathausbrook. The huge late Renaissance building has rich sculptured decoration and a Baroque ceremonial hall that's well worth seeing. At the top of Munsterbrook stands the late Gothic Wasserkirche, once entirely surrounded by the river Limmat. Number 7. Swiss National Museum. A castle-like building with neo-Gothic flourishes houses a superb museum showcasing the cultural history of all Switzerland. It's far and away the foremost important collection of Swiss historic and cultural artifacts, quite 820,000 of them, covering a good range of subjects from prehistory through the 20th century. The archaeological collections, with artifacts discovered in Switzerland that go back about 100,000 BC to about AD 800, are among the best in Europe. Entire collections cover works of gold and silver smiths, textiles, costumes, metalwork, jewelry, watches and clocks, scientific instruments, rural life, carriages and sleighs, musical instruments, crafts, and industrial antiquities. The medieval wall paintings are particularly interesting, as is the collection of old glass. The Armory Tower exhibits a crucial collection of arms and armor. Number 8. Grossmunster. Standing in an open terrace above the river, Zurich's principal church dominates the town skyline with its World Trade Center. Built between the 11th and therefore the 13th centuries, it's a Romanesque three-aisled galleried basilica with a chancel over a crypt that dates from about 1100. The upper levels of the towers go back 1487, but the dome tops were added in 1782. High on the south tower on the riverside may be a seated figure of Charlemagne, who is believed to possess founded the order to which the church originally belonged. You'll see the badly weathered original of the statue within the crypt. The surface one may be a copy. Make certain to ascertain the two modern bronze doors wiped out 1935-36, the sculptured Romanesque capitals, remains of Gothic wall paintings, and therefore the late Romanesque cloister from about 1200. Number 9. Zurich Zoo. More than 360 different animal species sleep in the exotic world of the Zurich Zoo, one among the best in Europe. Animals live as on the brink of their own environments as possible: snow leopards amid the rocky Himalayan landscape, penguins swimming in chilly water, and you'll spot flying foxes from a cover walk amid 13,000 square meters of tropical rainforest. Within the King Kraken Elephant Park, you'll watch the Asian elephant family play with their baby and swim in their multi-environment outdoor complex, which was designed to resemble their natural Thai habitat. Trams and trains run to the zoo from the most railway station and therefore the Paradeplatz. Number 10. St. Peter's Church. South of the Lindenhof within the part of the old town that lies on the west bank of the Limmat, St. Peter's Church stands on a touch hill. The oldest parish church in Zurich, it's an early 13th century Romanesque choir under the tower and a Baroque nave with three aisles and galleries. You'll see the first 9th century foundation underneath the chancel. The church acquired the most important clock dials of Europe in 1538, 8.7 meters in diameter, and still holds that record. Number 11. Bellerive Museum. The astonishingly broad collections within the Bellerive make it Switzerland's most vital museum of applied arts. The various exhibitions that display these explore various topics and themes, moving seamlessly between art and style and through various historical periods. The Bellerive is particularly strong in works across all media from the school era, with particularly valuable samples of ceramics. Other specialties include textiles, modern ceramics, and marionettes handmade by 20th century artists. There are 200 historic musical instruments within the collections. Number 12. Confiserie Sprüngli. Sprüngli House was opened in 1856, and today, the confectioner's cafe on Paradeplatz may be a favorite stop for locals and tourists. Check out the stacks of temptations within the window, and you will be drawn inside to a minimum of feast your eyes on the beautifully displayed truffles, bonbons, cakes, and their signature macarons, called Luxembourgili. The retail shop is on the road floor, while the upstairs cafe salon serves breakfast, lunch, and afternoon desserts in genteel surroundings.